So Rick, you and I, we saw a movie this week. A movie that we've kind of been talking about for a while. And you're responsible for me even having a desire to see this movie, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I love your mom. I didn't mean it that way, but you know what I mean. And I don't mean that I love your mom in that way either, you know. I mean it. Okay, anyways. So, Rick, what did we go see?
We saw the Disaster Artist.
We said not the room. We saw the Disaster Artist, not the room.
Artist.
Not the room. Which, you know, is the movie.
Which is the movie that Dan Herman introduced to me. Didn't change my life. Then I introduced it to you and Annie and changed your guys' life.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And it led us to watching this Disaster Artist movie with James Franco and Dave Franco, Seth Rogen,
Alison Brie, lots of people.
Lots of people. Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, lots of cameos. Lots of cameos in the beginning, opening, Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
And a bunch, a lot of people.
I'm forgetting
them now. Kevin Smith, that one dude who's in Step Brothers and a lot of other movies.
John C. Reilly?
No. He's Will Ferrell's brother in Step Brothers.
Just John C. Reilly?
Adam? No. Not his stepbrother, his actual brother. Adam
Scott.
I think Adam Scott. Is that right? We got it right. Anyways, lots of people. It doesn't fucking matter. So, refresh my memory.
Veronica Mars, right?
Huh?
He was on Veronica Mars.
Was he?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He played the teacher who was framed for having an affair with a student. Yeah.
Wouldn't he have been too young for that?
No. He was in it. Well, while you check on that.
Well, I mean, I believe you, I guess. I mean, you know Veronica Mars better than I do.
Then
okay.
He did
That's fine. We're talking about the right guys. No big deal. So refresh my memory. What's the name of the book again?
The Disaster Artist. Is the name of the book. That
is the Disaster Artist too? Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah. So this truly is... Well, you've read the book, I haven't read the book, but this is truly kind of a movie based on the book.
That is correct.
All right. So, well, let's start this out. First of all, what did you think?
I thought the movie was very well done.
Okay.
It's insane how detailed this movie was to mimicking The Room movie and also portraying some of the scenes that were, or the parts in some of the books to on-screen real life.
And that's my follow-up. So keep going with your opinions, but also how close to the book did you feel like the movie was? How much did they leave out? Did they leave out...
Obviously, they left it a lot.
Because the book isn't very long, though, I think, right? From what you told me, isn't it like under 200 pages?
Something like that, yeah.
So it's not very... Okay. But they did leave out a lot, you're saying.
Yeah, they did leave out quite a bit.
Do you feel like... Sorry, I'm asking
But as far as... Okay.
One more thing. And then on top of that, another follow-up to the question. Do you feel like... Did they add stuff into the movie that wasn't really in the book, where maybe they took creative license a little bit? And then go ahead. All you, no more.
Yes, that would jump in towards the end. Though.
Okay.
So I read the book, as we just said, and as far as like the book followed the movie, I would say kind of like Tommy Wiseau has been saying within interviews, it's pretty much 99.9% accurate.
Wow.
Towards everything they talked about in the book, and everything followed to the movie. You know, the him buying both standard and HD cameras, buying everything. You know, no rent, just buy. But yeah, it pretty much followed the book pretty accurately, other than taking out scenes that wasn't in the book or not in the movie. Right? Did I say that right?
So, in other words, not everything from the book is in the movie.
Obviously, because the book's pretty long.
It's going to be full spoilers, by the way. Just
so full spoilers.
So we'll probably put something on the bottom of this.
Yeah, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could do that. So.
There you go. Do it. It's done.
Leave it up?
Leave it up.
All right. So
you also do think that the movie took some creative license also? And if so, how and where and when?
Yeah, well, they bought the rights to the book and the likeness rights. So yeah, I mean, as soon as I think it was as soon as James. This is also from interviews I've been watching. Like as soon as he finished reading the book and watching the movie, like he wanted to make this movie. Just like
James Franco.
Yeah, he just wanted to make this movie, and he wanted to be as accurate as all possible. And he talked about the conversation he had when he called up Tommy to get his likeness rights, and even Tommy himself said like first actor he wanted was Johnny Depp, of course.
Wow.
And then his second choice was actually James Franco because he's seen a lot of his movies.
Okay.
So yeah, there's things that I wish it touched the movie touched on that was in the book, but it really didn't. All the parts I wanted it to touch on, it didn't touch on that part at all.
So there's stuff that you were really hoping was there and it wasn't. So are you a little disappointed? I
am a little disappointed, but I guess at the same time, like I shouldn't be too surprised that wasn't in the book or in the movie. It was just something I really was interested to see. Like I thought they were gonna do a flash forward, flashback type of thing with like kind of like the book does. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't do that.
When did the book come out again? Like year? How long?
2009, you said?
Okay.
Back early. Okay. Talk
about it. So, like I said, refresh my memory again. When the book came out, Tommy wasn't happy.
He wasn't happy with it because of how much he said in that book.
Did he know the book was being written?
I'm pretty sure he did, yeah.
But just the end product he wasn't happy with.
Yeah. I mean,
so when the book was being written, were they friends again? Because like here's where the confusion happens for me. Like in the movie, obviously I haven't read the book. It seems like everything's good between the two of them after the premiere. So, I mean, at some point, does shit go south again or something? Or is it just like they remain friends, but Greg decided to write the book, and maybe that caused a rift again? Like, I don't know.
He didn't want him to write the book.
Because, don't talk about me, don't talk about my life.
Exactly.
Okay.
He didn't want...
Because I think I was always under the impression that Greg wrote the book because they weren't friends anymore. But it sounds like that wasn't totally the case.
It was the book, if I remember correctly. The book, because he didn't want him to say all that stuff.
Okay. So wait, hold on. At which point do we learn, if you even know this, that they became friends again? Because obviously after the book comes out...
Well, they went and started promoting...
The book.
Or he went promoting the book, and then like...
People ask questions.
Yeah. Okay. And I know they ended up making up because they sometimes both go to the room premieres all over the country.
Of course. So this wasn't like a backstabbing thing. It wasn't like he, didn't know the book was being written.
Yeah. He wanted to...
Probably wanted him
to tell the story.
Something.
Yeah, he wanted to tell the story of how it was made. But yeah, everything, as far as what I did like they included him spying on everyone with the behind-the-scenes guy. And in the book, he talks about how he would always show up late on set, always tired, always groggy, because he was staying up all night watching all those tapes, which we only got like one scene of him watching.
Yeah. And I get that.
Which makes sense.
Right. How many times do you have to show that?
Yeah. Which makes sense. But yeah, like that's why he was always late to set. And there was little hints throughout the filming of the movie where he's like, I know what you're saying, I hear what you're saying.
Right.
And then it led up to that part where we saw in the movie. So that made sense how condensed.
Because that part in the movie is like followed up almost directly after we see him watching the tapes on his own.
And the whole part with Juliet in bed too, that was all in the book too.
That is fucked up.
Yeah, it was fucked up. The part where they're playing in the park, and he starts asking him all these questions. Like, where does the money come from? How old are you? Where are you from? Like that scene was in the book too. Mm-hmm. And that part in the movie where they're throwing that football around, all that was obviously you saw was in the movie. Like they were literally fighting each other. They weren't play fighting.
Right. Does it seem like the fight plays out the way it was in the movie, or were like punches thrown, or was it just like a scuffle?
No, it was like a scuffle.
Okay, so
fight. So they played out pretty accurately.
Yeah.
You saw it in the movie The Room.
Right.
It's pretty much the same.
Does the not to interject, but I just have so many questions. Do the movie and book end like in the same point? Like, kinda,
yeah. Well, yes and no. The point where the book ends is the book ends just before the movie starts.
The book ends just before the movie starts.
The premiere at the premiere. So that premiere part, like all that's.
Oh, where they're laughing at it. That was the creative license.
That's the part where it changes. See, as far as I remember, like he doesn't say in the book like how they reacted to it.
Right.
All it was like people's reactions were discussed. It wasn't.
Okay, so that's the part that they took creative
People were
license.
laughing too, but people were also like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Right.
You know.
And he obviously.
Tweaked.
I don't know.
I feel like he tweaked the ending.
Right. He doesn't. Tommy Wiseau in real life doesn't take them. Didn't think like, oh, they like me, my comedy. It's what I intended. Yeah. That was all okay. That makes sense.
Because I remember seeing an interview. He said it wasn't until later where he kind of was like, laughs it off. Oh yeah, it's a comedy, but that was never his intention.
That makes sense.
You know. So yeah. I mean, I like the movie. I mean, it's these two people who want to make it in Hollywood and do their best to do it, and it's like. I like the movie as well as I like the book. It's like, something we all wish for. Something. Well, not all of us, but for the most part, we everyone has a dream, and these people actually try to accomplish their dream. Mm-hmm. And I really like it for that.
Yeah. Well, again, I want to ask another question before I give my opinion. When he's talking about what happened in the book, like, is he trying to paint Tommy in a negative light, or is he just saying what happened? Like this. He. Like, I'm really testing you here. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's true. There's parts in the book where it's like he's a complete asshole. Tommy's a complete asshole while they're filming this fucking movie. Yeah. But in the book, it jump cuts from the future to the past, so you like I say narrator because I listen to the book. It jumps to the past, Tommy's past, and him growing up, and Tommy's just his made up name. Tommy Wiseau, that's not actually his real name. As far as I know, that's not his real name.
But we don't know his real name.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
So whatever.
And he gave,
whatever Greg says in the book about Tommy growing up is whatever Tommy's told him. Then I guess
that's the assumption of it, and that's why he was angry with Greg for that.
Right.
So like while you're reading the book, I mean, you hate this guy, but then you listen to or read what he's been through, and you're like, fuck. Then you start feeling bad for him. Then you jump back into set, and then he's like a complete asshole.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the movie for me doesn't show what Tommy's been through though. Like that's clearly
and that's
something
kind of the part that I was hoping we would see. Where we can.
What's funny about that, though, is me watching the movie, having not read the book, even though the guy is an asshole on set and stuff, I found myself kind of feeling bad for him, even just watching the movie, just because, it sucks to kind of know that you're like the joke in the room to everybody, and you either pretend that you don't realize it's happening or you do kind of know what's happening. So, like, in some ways, even though he's being a prick, I still found myself kind of feeling bad for it. And in some ways I feel like, so to jump to this for a bit, I enjoyed the movie.
Right.
I thought it was good. But in some ways I almost found the whole thing kind of depressing. Like, even after I watched the Room, like the actual movie, like when it's all said and done, I'm just I feel strange after I watch it. And I kind of feel the same way after watching The Disaster Artist. And I feel like I'm going to feel the same way after reading the book, because it's like... It's kind of depressing, even though the movie makes it seem like everything all ended up okay, and in reality things kind of end up okay, I guess. Like this movie is known. I don't want to say it's well known. It's more well known now, but it's known at all because people think it's a joke. That kind of sucks.
Yeah. He poured his heart into this, wanting it to be a serious movie, Oscar contending movie, which just wasn't.
He's just legit, just a weird dude.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets nominated. just because it's a movie based on Hollywood, and that's what the critics and the people at the Oscars like.
Now, how funny is that though? Like,
It is
if that
funny,
were to
yeah.
happen, like that's what Tommy wanted for The Room, and then if this movie based off of the book, which is based off of the experience in making the movie, actually gets nominated, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's like a mind fuck right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's something he always wanted.
Right. But I could see it though, and it's not so much for the storytelling of it. I think it has more to do with like, it really is insane how much Dave Franco started to look like Greg and how much James looked like Tommy. Like,
Yeah.
when we first heard about this movie and heard about the casting and stuff, I couldn't picture it. And then you see it and you're just like, it's weird. I mean, his face started to look so much like Tommy, you know. And then yeah, he did a good job sounding like him. And there's not really like, I don't want to say it's easy, but Tommy has a pretty distinct sound to his voice. Dave Franco didn't really sound like Greg at all, but I mean, Greg was just like, there's nothing really distinct about Greg's voice, so how do you really do that? But they really, it blew my mind watching it how much they looked like the real life people. And then I, for a little bit, thought that Lisa was the same Lisa.
Yeah, she looked a lot
For
alike.
like, you know, like even towards the end when they started doing like the side by side scenes, I was like, fuck, maybe that is her, and she like just lost a little bit of weight or something. And then they showed another angle. I'm like, okay, it's not her.
No,
The face is too different.
Right.
But wow, and then I started thinking while I was watching it, I was so convinced it was the same actress. I'm like, I don't know if that's kind of sad for that actress to be like, hey, I was in the real movie and now I'm in the Disaster Artist too. Like, it just seems like, wow, that she didn't really progress in life.
No, she's a financial something or other. No.
Oh, the real Lisa.
The real Lisa. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. Like,
You enjoyed the movie.
I enjoyed the. I don't know. Like, I enjoyed the movie for what it was, but like I said, after I'm done watching stuff like watching it, like I don't know. I don't want to say it's depressing, but it just makes me feel funny. Does that make sense? I can't convey it. Like, I don't.
No, I get it. I felt the same way when I read the book.
Yeah, and like, since it just makes me feel like, because even though we laugh at it now, it's just kind of depressing. It's depressing to laugh at somebody else, even though I've done it, when that wasn't the intent.
Yeah.
So like, when I'm saying like, yeah, did I enjoy it? I enjoyed it for what it was and for I know what it was supposed to be. I don't want it to sound like I didn't like it, because I didn't. Like, is it something that I feel like I'm gonna need to watch again? Like, I don't know. I would. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but it's like I've seen it. You know what I mean? And I think it's amazing, and I think it is funny, and it's crazy, and I've seen the story being told. But like, yeah, there's just kind of. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. This is something I would definitely watch again, probably along with The Room itself.
Yeah, I think I'd like to too, because like it's been a few years since I've seen The Room, and so like it was coming back to me a bit. So I would watch it again. I definitely would, but you understand where I'm coming from.
Oh,
I
totally get what you're saying.
It just feels. It's just weird.
When you read the book,
yeah, I know.
It's gonna make you feel even weirder.
Which just makes me not want to read the book, but I will. Like, because do you get the feeling of depression that I feel like I'm sort of saying?
I do.
Like,
I totally get it.
It's just strange, man. But yeah, unbelievable job by James Franco, Dave Franco, everybody involved. Like,
it's amazing
crazy.
how to the T they made the replica of this.
Yeah, it's insane. So like Seth Rogen and some of the other characters and stuff in the movie.
Yeah. They're all based on real people.
Okay, so they are.
Yeah, Sandy was.
I figued they were, but
assistant director.
Yeah, I figured they were, but I just didn't know like to what extent they were even written about. So I don't know.
No, all of it's true. Like in the book, I mentioned Sandy was the easy person to get along with on set. Like, you couldn't really piss him off. It was just that one day where Sandy finally had enough, and he actually went off on Tommy. Same thing with
no air conditioning.
Yeah, and that too.
Now, why
that was the director of photography
okay.
too. Yeah.
Why, like, in the book, what's the explanation for that? Did that happen because he was pissed off at everybody? Did he just like stop paying for AC and stop?
He just
didn't
want to spend any more money,
so he just
stopped the AC.
Because I think the movie doesn't really make that clear about the reason.
And then she actually went to the hospital.
The person that played the mom. Okay.
I think it was the Cedar-Sinai Hospital, whatever hospital was closest. But yeah. And then they also had trouble with Chris R.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I'm surprised they didn't address that. Because you saw in the beginning that they were in the alley in that Chris R scene. That was the first thing they did, according to the book.
Yeah.
But they ended up reshooting that, obviously, on the rooftop. And Chris R. had a beef with Tommy, too. And, after he was... Yeah. They were filming.
Because you're right, that does happen on the roof.
Yeah.
But in the movie, they don't show it.
They don't even show that, yeah. But yeah, that's just because, I think he just wanted to reshoot it, and he wanted to get the guy who played Chris Hart back, and he didn't want to come back, And then he kept Tommy he needs to be on set today, right now, and of course in his world everything has to,
right.
So when calling him, he didn't want to do it,
Yeah.
And somehow he convinced him to come back and do the same scene, but on the rooftop.
And then I forgot, I thought the room took place in San Francisco.
It does.
But in the movie, it's in L.A.
They filmed it in L.A.
That's just that. So that's another thing where they took creative license.
Something Sawyer, yeah.
So then explain to me, in the book, they really do go to L.A. So what brings them back to San Francisco to do the room?
Oh, all the exteriors that he wanted them to be real San Francisco, so they had to go back to San Francisco to shoot the exteriors.
Okay, but some of the room was filmed in LA then?
All the inside, all the inside
Exterior
stuff.
was San Francisco.
Exterior was all San Francisco.
Okay,
so,
okay.
Like the park,
they don't
the flower shop.
Okay, they don't cover that too much in the movie.
Obviously not.
The disaster artist, yeah.
No, and there's a part where, in the book, where they want to use the front of the house as their house, but they don't have no permission. So Tommy, all he does is just park in front of the house, just starts walking up and go up to open the door like nothing.
Yeah. But it's locked, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about it in the book.
Yeah, okay. Rick's like, don't spoil the book.
No, you guys watch. Listen to the book.
Well, I clearly have so many questions. I'm obviously interested.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that makes me feel funny. I don't know.
Oh.
It's good. I enjoyed the experience.
More answers. The Disaster Artist is on Amazon and on Audible.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend it. Thanks to Dan Herman. Dan Herman, you started this whole shit. I don't know if I want to
thank Dan Herman for this. We should have had him on for this. Actually.
We totally should have had him on.
Has he seen it? Do you know?
I'm sure. He saw it Friday.
Okay.
So, yeah, because he said he bought his tickets for Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have totally had him on.
No, that's fine. It is what it is. It's already been a pretty long segment anyways.
All right, yeah. So,
it's just crazy, man, I don't know. So you weren't disappointed. The only thing you were disappointed
I was a little disappointed, but mostly, I mean, I can't really
and we
push too much on it.
We kind of had this discussion. Remember when we watched, I think, the first, not the teaser trailer, but the first real trailer for this book, or for this movie, I said, you kept saying, read the book before seeing the movie. I'm like, yeah, but I'm kind of afraid to do that because I feel like then I'll watch the movie and do what you're doing. Be like, well, this wasn't in it, and this wasn't in it, and this wasn't in it.
I wouldn't say it didn't hurt.
I'm not saying it hurts, but you kind of have a thing like, oh, dang, why didn't they talk about this? Where now for me, I feel like I'm going to get extras now in reading the book. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it doesn't always work out that way, but
you're right. You got more behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know.
To put into your...
And so all that shit, he actually, so Greg actually at one point, had an opportunity, the Malcolm in the Middle part. That's not real. Is that real?
He had, but did he I don't know if you ran into him. I can't remember if that was it, but I know he did have a part in Malcolm in the Middle.
And he didn't do it.
He didn't do it because he had to shave his beard.
Fuck. I kind of remember you telling me about that, I think, actually. You might have told me a little bit about that, but that's crazy. What else? And then he lost his girlfriend?
Yeah, he did lose his girlfriend because of that. Yeah, it's fucked up.
Does the book at all, like I said, without spoiling too much of it, and maybe you won't even answer this for me, does the book go into more about his relationship with his mom after he goes to LA? Because the movie we only see the mom once.
In the beginning, yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, there's more of that. There's more of that.
I mean, does his mom eventually... Well, I guess the movie does show him talking to his mom a few years later, and it seems like she's, now he's there and he's moved there. Okay.
Yeah. All the questions you have were answered in that book.
Yeah, I guess I gotta listen to the book.
Yeah. And we could talk about it on here.
Yeah.
Book club.
Anyways, man, yeah. So the Disaster Artist, we saw it. We both. I just like. I guess if you. I don't want to say it's hard. I was gonna say if you have any. It's hard to recommend this. You know what I mean? Because like it's kind of a personal choice. You know, like if you wanna jump into this world of The Room and the Disaster Artist, if you have any ounce of desire to do that, go for it. But I don't think I'm gonna wholeheartedly say like, oh, you should absolutely like.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that either.
Yeah.
I think if you have some kind of notion of it, or at least seen The Room, I would watch it.
So
there's that.
There's the disaster. The disaster.
Disaster
That's
Artist.
what this segment has turned into. We saw the Disaster Artist. We enjoyed it. If you feel like going down that road, you might enjoy it too.